Hi, I'm Stephen Webb, the author of The Moving Road 4 Simple Steps to Creating Your Own Success Journey. I want to talk to you today about gratitude and how it changed my life and how I know it can change many people's lives. But what is it and how do you practice it daily? If I go back to a little story, for the people that don't know me, I broke my neck in 1991 when I was 18. I won't go down the whole story of the hospitalisation and the years and all. But I broke my neck by diving into a swimming pool. And in the recovery, in the first few weeks, I went to intensive care. And during that time in intensive care, I was unable to eat. I was unable to drink. I was on a drip. So during that time, I never tasted anything in my mouth. That was apart from these little spongy swabs or something the nurses used to give me. And they were lemon flavour. And they used to just dab them on my lips and on my tongue. And they became so important. They became the one thing I look forward to more than anything else. And 23 years on, they are the things that I remember from intensive care. And when I have lemon now, if I have a lemon squash or something, and it just takes me back to that feeling good, that moment when I taste it on my lips. And it's amazing how the simple things become incredibly important when you haven't got the others. You know, you take away the ability to taste food, and suddenly you crave the most mundane food in the world. You take away the ability to breathe properly, and you just want to be able to breathe a couple of times without coughing or without sneezing. You take away the ability to think clearly or to walk or to do the everyday things we do. And then suddenly your whole life changes. Your whole life is like, please just give me a day that I can do this. Please just give me a day that I can walk or I can think clearly or I can taste food. So after many years of being grateful and very much people saying to me, how do you stay so positive? You know, they look at my life, and whenever you look at someone else's life, you always judge it on the way you are. So when they look at my life, they look at me and think, well, I couldn't live like that. I wouldn't like to be paralysed like that in a wheelchair. You know, just being paralysed is only part of it. You take all the added knock-on effects of having people to help you and getting out of bed and people showering you and doing all the different things. And then add having people around a lot of the time. So the being paralysed is the little bit. So they see the little bit and go, I don't know if I could live like that. And then I suddenly become inspiring to them because I'm happy. And for many years, I couldn't work out why I was happy. I couldn't work out, I just was. I was born that way. I don't know. But then I realised I appreciated the little things. It was the little things that made the massive difference in my life. When I went through a hard time 2.5 years ago, I stopped thinking about the little things that I had. I stopped appreciating life. Suddenly my life was over. Suddenly I lost everything, every waking dream I had. The only time I was happy was before I opened my eyes in the morning, if I'd sleep at all. Then reading books and getting my life back on track, I started building up an active plan of how to be more grateful. And one of those things was making a gratitude list every morning. I didn't do it always at first. After a while, I gave up and then went back to it. But a gratitude list is writing down 5 things every morning, or even talking them through in your head every morning before you get up, before you go and have your coffee, do your teeth, sit on the edge of the bed, wherever you want to do. But take out a couple of minutes and go through 5 things that you are grateful for that day. When I first started doing this list, I found it really hard to find 5 things that I was grateful for. I would get to 3, maybe 4, and I would really struggle. And I would think I was writing down silly little things. I'm grateful I got a house. That's a good one. I'm grateful I live in a country where the weather's good most of the time. But then I would get to number 4 or 5 and write down something what I classed as ridiculous. I'm grateful I could breathe. I'm grateful that I can see. Just to fill up the 5. The next day I would come back and I would have my little rule that I could not copy the day before's. So I would start doing my gratitude list, and it was harder because I had to come up with 5 new things. There was 10 things in 2 days that I was grateful for. And eventually I would come up with another 5, and I would think not a lot of them. I'm grateful that I slept last night. I'm grateful that I'm healthy at the moment. And I say it with a lack of enthusiasm deliberately, because I had no enthusiasm about those little things at that time. But as you grow a life of gratitude, as you start really seeing and appreciating what you have around you, you realize it's not so much the house. It's not so much living in a great country. It's not so much that you have a nice car. It's about you have a loving family. It's about that you can see. It's about that you can smell today because your nose isn't blocked with a cold. It's about that you can communicate. You can hear. You can get out of bed. You have hope for another day. All those things, to a youngster or to many people, it's like, yeah, they're a given. We get that every morning. But one day they might not be a given. One day they might not be there. We've all had a stinking cold. We've all had 3 or 4 days where we can really barely breathe. And we wish every morning that we could just have a clear nose. And then 3 days into having a clear nose, you never wake up in the morning and go, wow, I can breathe. Well, we should. And we need to start doing that. If you really want to be happy, wake up in the morning and go, I can see. I can hear. I can breathe. When I was 13, 14, the alarm would go off for school. I would sit on the edge of the bed, wait for my dad to scream at me or tell me to, come on, get ready for school, you're late, or my mum. And I would drag myself to the bathroom, moaning and tired and fed up, and put myself in the shower and drag myself downstairs and put some cereal together, do some toast and drag myself off to school. It never occurred to me one day that I'd open my eyes and I couldn't get out of bed. and I would have to wait till assistance came, until one of my carers started work to give me a hand. It never once occurred to me that my legs work, let's appreciate them. Let's take a moment, sat on the edge of the bed and go, thank you legs. Thank you feet. Thank you legs. Thank you body. I'll look after you. But we don't. I'm not blaming you. I'm not saying this to make anybody feel guilty. I'm not saying this to make you think, oh, I should appreciate more in life. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. If you go through life not appreciating things, you're perfectly normal. Because that's what most people do. It's what I do most of the time, even now. But what I also do now is take some time out. Those few minutes in the morning, those few minutes during the day when things go bad. I take those few minutes out and go, is it really that bad? And I breathe. And I appreciate the breath I just took. And that's what it comes down to. That's what gratitude is. You don't have to share it with anybody. It's even better if you do share. Chat over with your partner, your family, your children. Some of your friends. Ask them what's on their gratitude list this morning. You'll be surprised how many people don't do it. You'll be surprised how many people don't know the difference between gratitude and a simple thank you. A thank you is for somebody else. Gratitude is for yourself. Gratitude is the opposite to, when I have a new job, I'll be happy. When I move house, I'll be happy. When I've lost 4 pounds, I'll be happy. Be happy, and then do what you want to do, then you will be happy. See, the thing is, I want to improve my value of life. I want to earn more money. I want to treat myself to new, upgraded things. But I don't see any of them as a need to make me happy, because I'm perfectly happy now already. And unless you're perfectly happy with what you already have, you won't be happy when you buy the new things, when you move house, when you lose that 4 pound. Trust me on that, you will not be happy. So if you start being grateful in your life for what you have, you'll start to be more positive. You'll start to see things in a different light. Then it will make losing the 4 pound, or working towards moving house, or working towards buying that next thing, so much more enjoyable, and it adds value to your life and not just a belief that it will make you happy. So this is what gratitude is. Gratitude is about appreciating what you have. More importantly, appreciating the small things.